Welcome to The Explainer. We're all about taking complex research and making it, well, make sense. So today, we're diving into something really interesting. Do we all feel the sting of being left out in the same way? Here's our roadmap. We'll start with that all-too-familiar feeling of exclusion. Then, we'll get into the huge difference between individual and collective cultures. After that, we'll look at the hard data from the lab, see how the brain itself actually reacts, and finally, figure out what this all means for us. All right, let's kick things off with a scenario. And I'm pretty sure almost everyone has felt this at some point. Yeah, that scene is straight from the research paper. And man, does it capture that awful, sinking feeling of being excluded. You know, it's so powerful that scientists have found it lights up the exact same parts of your brain as physical pain. So yeah, rejection literally hurts. Okay, so what's your move here? Are you gonna get angry and lash out, just kind of shrink away? Or do you try to play it cool and be friendly? Well, it turns out the answer might have less to do with your personality and a lot more to do with something you might not even think about, your culture. And to really get why, we need to zoom out and look at two totally different ways that cultures teach us to think about, well, ourself. So, first up, you've got the independent self. This is super common in places like North America and Western Europe. It's all about what makes you, you. You know, your unique personality traits, your independence, what makes you stand out. And then, on the flip side, you have the interdependent self. You see this a lot in many Asian, African, and South American cultures. Here, it's not about standing apart. It's all about being connected. Who you are is really defined by your relationships and your place in the group. In this chart, it just lays it all out perfectly, right? It's basically a me focus versus a we focus. Is being unique the goal, or is group harmony the goal? This difference right here is the key to everything else we're going to talk about. Okay, so researchers had this idea, but you know, ideas are one thing, data is another. So they set up a bunch of studies, 4 of them actually, to see how people with these different ideas of self really act when they get the cold shoulder. And they were pretty clever about it. They brought in people from places like Germany and the US, more individualistic cultures, and also from Turkey and India, which are more collectivistic. And they didn't just ask them how they'd feel, they actually made them experience exclusion. Sometimes it was recalling a memory, other times it was this virtual ball-tossing game where the other players just stop throwing you the ball. Ouch. And when they crunched the numbers, whoa, a super clear pattern jumped right out. The science was undeniable. People from those individualistic cultures, after being excluded, showed way more antisocial tendencies. They were much more likely to want to lash out or get back at the group that snubbed them. But what about the folks from collectivistic cultures? Their reaction was, well, kinda nothing. Seriously, their behavior barely changed at all, whether they were included or excluded. It was just a much more muted response. So let's just recap what they found. For the individualists from Germany and the US, getting excluded made them feel bad, and that bad mood was directly tied to them acting out, you know, with antisocial or avoidant behaviors. But for the collectivists from Turkey and India, that connection just wasn't there. Feeling excluded didn't automatically lead to acting out. Okay, so this begs a huge question, right? Are people from collectivistic cultures just better at putting on a brave face? Are they just better at coping? Or is something way, way deeper going on here? Well, the answer actually pulls us away from just psychology and drops us right into neuroscience. And this, to me, is where it gets absolutely wild. We're talking about how the brain itself is wired. So, check this out. Other researchers used fMRI scans, you know, the machines that watch your brain activity in real time, and they found something incredible. When someone from an individualistic culture thinks about themselves, one part of their brain lights up. When they think about their mom, a totally different part lights up. But for people from collectivistic cultures, when they think about themselves and when they think about their mom, the very same area of the brain activates. Let that sink in for a second. This isn't just some feel-good philosophical idea about being connected. It's a real, measurable, biological difference you can see on a brain scan. The line between me and we is literally blurrier in their brains. So, what does this all mean for us? What's the big takeaway from all this lab work and brain science? Let's put all the pieces together. What the study suggests is that it's not that collectivists are just tougher or better at brushing off the pain. No, it's that they might be experiencing the whole thing as a fundamentally different event. It's all about what's actually under threat. And here's the heart of it. If your entire identity is built around being a unique, independent person, getting excluded is like a direct attack on your very core. But if your identity is the group, if it's that web of relationships, then one person snubbing you, it doesn't really threaten the foundation of who you are. It's just not the same level of personal crisis. So to sum it all up, that sting of rejection, it's not one size fits all. For individualists, it's a deep personal threat, and that often leads to lashing out. For collectivists, where the self is woven into the group, that same rejection just doesn't hit the same core nerve. And the craziest part? This difference goes all the way down to the wiring in our brains. And that really leaves us with something to chew on, doesn't it? If something as raw and basic as the pain of rejection is shaped by our culture, what else is? Thinking about this isn't just an academic exercise. It's crucial for how we navigate our diverse world, from the office to international relations to just getting along with our neighbors. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.